Yeah, what's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan, and to the studio for Chelsea News. Daily Chelsea news here on Football Therapy. So welcome aboard, and welcome to updates in the world of the Blue Football Club. Coming from Matt Law of The Telegraph, an unlikely bromance that could help the club, as well as Football.London, giving us an update on what's going on with Joao Felix. Clearly a very talented player. Are we going to buy him? We'll find out, or hopefully we'll learn something. This video is brought to you by my sponsor, OneFootball, which is really nice. It's a really great and totally free application that you can use on your mobile devices, as well as just checking out the website. It gives you everything you need with transfers, manager news, statistics, lineups, everything you'll ever need in the world of Chelsea, but indeed the greater global football? Global football? Yeah, we'll go with that. Click the link in the top of the description to go check out OneFootball now. Do yourself that sweet favor, my friends. Alright then, let's get into it. So, Pochettino, that guy. Again, drink every time I say Pochettino in recent days, and you'll probably be dead. Mauricio Pochettino's Chelsea appointment could seal the contract from N'Golo Kante, writes Matt Law of The Telegraph. Apparently, they have a bit of a love for each other. And before we read this, Kante is very good. We take him off at 60 minutes. Chelsea have come to the realization we need to manage him massively, but he is a difference maker. And in these big games, when we have a team that know how they are playing, when we have a team that know what they are doing and trust each other and have dedication and application and they're fighting for something, adding a N'Golo Kante, a fit N'Golo Kante to that concoction, success. That's how it works. Chelsea's decision to offer Mauricio Pochettino the permanent head coach role could help N'Golo Kante's proposed contract renewal over the line. So as it stands, he's a free agent in the summer. Pochettino is in line to complete the formalities of his appointment by Chelsea amid hope that progress will be made this week, which we spoke about in yesterday's video. Do go check it out. Chelsea have been hopeful of securing Kante to a new contract for some time, having opened negotiations with the France World Cup winner before sacking previous head coach Graham Potter. Kante and Chelsea have been negotiating over the finer details of the deal over recent weeks, with the club remaining optimistic that an agreement can be reached. And a lot of people are on the fence, because he's 32 now. It's very snuck up on you, isn't it? Kante turning 32. Do you know what I mean? That certainly snuck up on me. We signed him when he was, 25? For 30 million as a Premier League winner with Leicester. 7 years ago. Is that 7? Yeah, man. And counting. Time. I was going to think of some sort of profound thing to say about time there, but I've got nothing. Anyway, despite his age, I do think it's important to sign him down to a new deal, because he's going to be one of those really important transitional players. And when I don't mean literally on the pitch playing in transition, but, he can be defending transition and also helping offensive transitions with his ball carrying, potentially. I mean, with this young super squad that we've got, your Enzos, your Andre Santos, all these young super talents, they are going to need a couple of years before they can be, at least, maybe not Enzo, but some of the other younger lads are going to need a couple of years to acclimatise and, get to know each other and sort of work under a coach. And you need the idea of a 32-year-old Kante who, at least for two, I always use the example of Modric, because it's all very well saying Thiago Silva, but he's a centre-back in a back three. Well, he's been playing well in a back two, but often in a back three. But Kante does need to run around. And age catches up with you all. Now, I'm 34. I can't run around like Kante. But if he can get to my age and really help Chelsea, then those 2 years of contract, if we do a 2+1 contract, Surely no more than that, one would assume. The arrival of Pochettino may well help clinch the agreement with Kante, with sources telling the Telegraph Sport, Matt Law and gang, that the Argentine and Kante share a mutual appreciation of one another. On social media, Matt Law called it a bromance. An unlikely bromance. It is understood that Pochettino was interested in signing Kante for PSG, and then it became clear that the 32-year-old midfielder would relish playing for him. So, Poch managing PSG, Kante relishing, not necessarily going back to his home city of Paris to play for PSG, but relish playing for Big Poch. I guess, like, Poch does do well with midfielders, because everyone thinks, right, what does Poch do well with? Well, he does well with everything. You think centre-backs, Alderweireld and what's his name, Vertonghen, he is probably the biggest strength is fullbacks, wing-backs, because that's probably where his excellence lies. And the fact I will have Chilwell, Correa, or maybe as a wing-back, but certainly, Maatsen, there you go, let's just move Correa out the side. Chilwell and Maatsen, no offence Correa, but he's less, dynamic, isn't he? On the right side, Malo Gusto and Reece James. So superb with Poch's coaching. Of course, he was good with strikers, or certainly with Harry Kane. He turned Harry Kane into what he is. Second strikers, but midfielders. You think of Moussa Dembele and stuff. So maybe Kante sort of thought about that and had his representative say, look, this guy's good at coaching midfielders, and you do well to be managed by him. The move never materialised, of course, Kante going to PSG, and he stayed at Stamford Bridge, but sources claimed the pair have retained a desire to work together at some point. Chelsea's Todd Boehly Clearlake Capital owners have negotiated a number of contract renewals since taking over the club, including Reece James, Ben Chilwell, and Thiago Silva. Notable ones, of course. Still waiting for Mason Mount, though. That is despite introducing a new bonus policy, which means some players will see their wages cut by as much as 30% due to the failure to qualify for the Champions League. Kante's current contract, which is set to expire in the summer, made him the best paid player at Chelsea at around 300k for a week at a time. And of course, since we've signed Lukaku, who's on silly money, and Sterling, which is under this new ownership, and Sterling's on 325k a week. But, the owners did that themselves, the new owners, Boehly Clearlake, so that's, down to them. Having missed 7 months of the season for injury, Kante has made 7 appearances for Chelsea since the start of April. Decent. And his high-energy style should suit Pochettino's approach. I'd say. And he's looked good. And he'll look better. And we've been managing him. And there's similar players that he can close games, he can start games. He doesn't need to be a 90-minute player to be hugely valuable, if you ask me. But I would, of course, be very interested in hearing what you guys have to say. If Pochettino helps Kante sign, I'm down. If Pochettino helps Mason Mount sign, I am down. They're two incredible players, and I want them staying at my football club. But that's just me. We're about to talk about Joao Felix in 1 second. But a quick reminder to drop a sweet like on this video. If you've got this far, it means you love me. Like the video, and why not subscribe, eh? Hey? Alright then. So, Felix. Joao Felix. That's how you say it. The curious case of Joao Felix. Clearly very, very talented. Clearly wants to get the heck away from Atletico Madrid. Scored 3 goals for us, I believe, since January, in what is a dismal, dysfunctional side. Yeah, so clearly very talented. Massive high profile. He is a great footballer. Now, is he a great footballer that we should buy? Again, it's not necessarily overly fair to compare Atletico Madrid's form since he left, although they got a lot better. When they don't feel like they need to accommodate him, they do just play a lot better. And I don't know if that's the same with Chelsea. Of course, Lampard had been leaving him out, but then he came in and scored that goal against Bournemouth when they're already losing. That's a good finish. But, nothing would surprise me with Felix in terms of his quality in moments. But is that enough to say, excuse me, you're a player that needs to stay and we need to accommodate for you in the team? Let's read what Football.London writes here from Danny Bloomer. Danny Bloomer, what a great name. Guy should have just been a baker. He shouldn't have been a football journalist. You've really forsaken himself, Dan. Danny Bloomer, mate. He could have opened a bakery and just killed it with a name. And they'd be like, oh, that's a funny name, but that's my name. Oh my God, no wonder you became a baker. Anyway, that is according to... Let's start at the top now. Chelsea could look to strike another loan deal with Atletico Madrid to bring Felix back at the club. Right, so that probably already off the top makes the most sense. That is according to Mundo Deportivo, who claim Chelsea are not prepared to meet Atletico Madrid's £87 million asking price. Yeah, well, no. I mean, I'm not saying Joao Felix as a young talent and his capacity isn't worth 87 million. He cost 120 million euros as a teenager, and you'd think that was a risky price, but now he's in like the years where you get his prime, so it costs more, and this is less. No, it is less. But, you know, has he lived up to the hype? I would say probably no. So we're not willing to pay 90 million. So another temporary switch is being contemplated. Felix made a loan switch to Stamford Bridge in January until the end of the season, but no option to buy was agreed as part of the deal. The Portugal international is therefore set to return back to the Spanish capital at the end of the month, with just 4 matches of the campaign remaining. While Felix has impressed at times during his 5 months in England, his inability to lock down a position has worked against him, particularly under Frank Lampard. He has been named as a substitute in each of the 5 last matches in all competitions. Yeah, wild. 5 matches is a lot, actually. He must be annoyed. With Lampard opting against naming a number 10. Yeah, well, that makes sense. And Felix is not comfortable playing as an out-and-out striker. Chelsea have agreed to bring in a player of Felix's mould in the summer, with RB Leipzig, Christopher Nkunku set. Yeah, but isn't Christopher Nkunku a little bit more of a direct player? And like Joao Felix is a little bit more of like a floaty playmaker. There's some cold, hard, sterile football analysis for you there. With that in mind, Todd Bowley already having spent over £600 million in the last 12 months, Chelsea can ill afford to splash the cash on another huge fee on a player like Felix. As such, another loan deal could be the best solution for all parties, providing Felix with another year to really nail down a position at Stamford Bridge as a strong attacking option. Yes, that would be best, because it gives him an opportunity to prove he's good, like really good, like can play in like a great side. It would give Atletico Madrid extra time for him to continue demonstrating that he's good, so they can get a bigger fee for him. Because right now, you know, it's not just Mundo Deportivo, there's multiple reports from multiple different publications that there's fear from Atletico that, you know, he's come to Chelsea and not done well. Granted, there's mitigating circumstances, as they are for most players, you know, but they wanted him to come to Chelsea, do well, you know, they knew Chelsea was going to attack. They're like, who cares if they ship goals? If Felix scores goals and assists goals because they're more like liberal with their play, which should work, that will make his value go up. Because it's not his job to defend goals, you know. To be speculating to a degree here. So they were like, go to Chelsea, score a few goals, and create a few chances. They'll go, wow, look at this guy playing at the highest level of the Premier League, doing bits. 100 million, please. Do you know what I mean? Whereas this has happened, and they're like, ooh. Like, we can't get money now. But a loan could give them the opportunity to do that with a culled squad. It's kind of like what we did with Lukaku. Had Lukaku been a lot younger, signed a fresh deal at Chelsea, and then we did 1, maybe 2 years loan at Inter, although it's not really the same because Inter's not the same platform as Chelsea is in the Premier League, of course. Especially considering he'd already won the Scudetto at Inter, and it's not really proving anything, and if anything, it just did him more damage. So there are parallels in that sense, actually. In, like, you know, hoping he'd go on loan and do really well. Saying that, though, Lukaku is finishing the season very strongly, and we might see him back at Chelsea very soon. Possibly. We just need to know who we play. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to know who starts in our football club. Like, you know, not like, oh, we've got Lukaku, we've got Havertz, we've loaned Felix again, Nkunku's second striker, but we could play him as a striker. Oh, Armando Broja's back from his ACL. You know, who are we going to play as a striker and just trying different combinations, nothing works, there's no continuity, and we're gonna get in a relegation battle. The story of this season. Yeah, I think like Lukaku might muddy the waters and just make it like we don't know who's playing where and what, especially like certain profiles just demand to be played, and when they're not being played, there's like an aura of discontent that bleeds into the team. It's tough. It's tricky. The fan base is seemingly split on Joao Felix as far as I can understand, so make sure you let me know what you think. Do you think a loan's good, or do you think it's just a space we don't need of high wages, and we should really as much as maybe it's not sexy, but maybe just keep Conor Gallagher. Play Conor Gallagher. He works really hard. Pochettino might get a decent tune out of him. He might do like a Dele Alli 16-17 out of him, and he might prefer that work ethic to get the team going than Joao Felix floating around. And it's really unsexy to say, oh yeah, play and keep Conor Gallagher over Joao Felix, and the hipsters won't like that. And if you said that 6-7 months ago, they'd be like, but now you look at it, like Connor's working really hard. He's a professional. He trains. He's Chelsea. He wants to play for Chelsea. He loves Chelsea, and he's just got the ability to get all over the place. He's high octane, and maybe Poch, as a team coach, as a sort of philosophical coach that just doesn't want vibes. He actually wants tactics. Maybe he sees that as more important. But then again, Chelsea, the hierarchy might be like, well, there's 50 million pounds, 40 million pounds free for the books there with Gallagher. It's tough. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. I thank you all for liking the video. It means a lot when you subscribe also. And turn on the bell, because hot dog, I upload all the time and it will notify you when I upload. Alright mate, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you very soon. Ciao ciao.